Hey everybody, Boris Schlossberg. Welcome to the weekly technicals for the pound complex for September 11th to September 15th of 2017. And cable this week is really the star of the show, the stealth trade that sort of the little currency that could. When we look at the charts here, it was a very clear breakout at the end of the week. So cable has put in the kind of weekly candle that we really like to see as a continuation signal. Now, cable is notorious for sort of creating a continuation signal and then having a retrace move on the next periodicity. So it's not impossible for us to see a move back down towards perhaps 30, 50, even 30, 100 as a test of the lows. No, maybe I would say maybe 30, 50 would be maximum in order for this formation to preserve itself. But as you can see, whenever you have these big high volatility breakout candles on the weeklies, there's generally very good probability of continuation move. And certainly cable has the potential to extend itself all the way out to perhaps 33, 34. The absolutely critical, the really critical area in cable is this 135 level. That's the pre-Brexit hold and the post-Brexit ceiling, in my opinion. If cable breaks above the 135, that means the market is signaling something extraordinarily important going on. Somehow the market is apprehending that either Brexit doesn't happen or that Brexit doesn't matter. Either way, that would be a massively important signal for UK to look at, for those of you who are trading the pound to look at. For now, though, I think the near-term probability is that we can extend at least towards the 3250, 3300 over the next week or so, given the kind of volatility breakout that we've had. We have had relatively positive economic data, nothing really bad either way. The negotiations in Brexit, of course, are going nowhere, but market doesn't seem to really care. And in many ways, you're seeing cable strength really as a function of this one particular facet, which is the euro-pound. Here, let me just sort of move this around here a little bit. You guys can see this. Sorry. The facet of the euro-pound unwind. That's been the strength of the cable move here that has really created all of this cable positive movement. Now, the euro-pound, we've been talking about this for the last several weeks, really presented itself as a hugely profitable opportunity on a double top formation. We had guessed that the double top was forming a couple of weeks ago, and so far it's really playing out to spec. How much more is there to the downside? There's certainly enough scope here for 90, 100, which means we still have another 100 points to the downside, which really would take us to the cable 132.50, 133 level to the upside as a potential trade into the week or the week after. The other trade, of course, I already talked about that I really like very much is the pound yen to the upside. This is all basically bullish cable trades on a side note, and the pound yen looking very good on a cross basis. Cable against the COM dollars can also be a very interesting look here because I think especially cable Kiwi, which certainly has been weak, looks very good here for a powerful rounded breakout move here. Really, if you're arguing, and I am, that you have a chance here potentially for relative strength outperformance longer than just this week, then maybe there's continuation. Then cable against the Kiwi, cable against Aussie, and even cable perhaps even against the Caddy, all of them present with an opportunity here. Not a cable against Kiwi perhaps the strongest, but you see these rounded bottoms, all of these coiled formations, suggesting that if cable does turn up, you have a lot more room to run here. The only one that it sort of looks weakest against is pound CAD because of just enormous strength of the Canadian dollar. But overall, cable really looking quite good against all of these trades. Let's just take a look at the cable Swiss. Yet another really interesting, and I think in some ways, in my opinion, could be the most interesting trade this week. So we have the ECB, the Bank of England central bank decision, which of course they're probably going to be generally dovish. But remember, there's a whole constituency on the Bank of England side that is much more hawkish than the governor, and it could be a tug of war. This any kind of a tug of war that presents the hawks at war with Governor Carney would be viewed as positive cable. But before that, we also have the S&B meeting, and there's no doubt in my mind the S&B is going to want to just destroy the Swissy as much as possible, especially with this massive dollar decline, which strengthened the Swissy over the last couple of weeks. So the pound Swiss as a cross could be perhaps the most interesting, the most attractive trade that you can see. We have a series of higher lows, nice weekly bottoming formation, certainly scope here for quite a lot of upside, 26, 27, maybe even 2800 before we see any kind of meaningful resistance. I think that's the pound trade of the week as we start the trade.